You've been told your entire life that being empathetic makes you a good person, but that exact same trait can actively sabotage your most important relationships and set you up for severe emotional burnout. Today, we are applying the insights from Justin Bariso's EQ Applied to analyze and rebuild our psychological approach to empathy. Approaching empathy as a mechanical framework provides the tools to connect deeply while preserving your own cognitive resources. This model divides empathy into 3 pillars. Cognitive empathy maps another person's feelings to reach their mental framework. Emotional empathy shares their distress as a physical sensation. Finally, compassionate empathy moves you past feelings toward productive, external action. To see these pillars in a real-world context, imagine a close friend has just lost a family member. Sympathy might prompt you to send a condolence card. True empathy requires a sequential effort. Cognitive empathy forces you to imagine the specific voids left in their daily life. Emotional empathy requires you to connect with your own history of sorrow, and compassionate empathy drives you to drop off a hot meal or watch their children so they have space to grieve. High-level connection requires all 3 pillars to operate together. Missing any single component leaves the relationship superficial or leaves you paralyzed and unable to help. The brain operates with a cognitive glitch, the perspective gap. This chart shows the massive discrepancy between perceived and actual struggle when an observer is calm. Exaggerating our willpower, we underestimate other stressors, judging impulsivity and forgetting our own failures. In homes and workplaces, this gap creates toxic mental standoffs. Both parties dig in, fixate on the other's flaws, and assume the worst about each other's intentions. Bridging this gap requires a proactive pause. You have to make educated guesses about the other person's unseen stressors and resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Actively addressing the perspective gap breaks the cycle of deteriorating relationships. When a person feels understood, they are more likely to reciprocate, building a foundation of trust. But there is a hazard in this process. Researchers call it the empathy trap. It occurs when you act as an unregulated emotional sponge, absorbing the suffering of everyone around you. Data from the Pew Research Center shows that being aware of the struggles in your social network can inflate your own stress levels, leading to profound emotional exhaustion. Psychologist Paul Bloom argues that allowing short-lived emotional empathy to dictate your decisions can hide the long-term consequences of your actions. Consider Nicole, a traveler in India. Overwhelmed by the pain of seeing a begging child, she handed him money. She later learned that her Domitian funded a corrupt industry that intentionally maims children to make them more effective beggars. Her unchecked empathy prioritized a quick fix for her own discomfort. She focused on the immediate emotion while inadvertently supporting the industry causing the harm. Avoiding these pitfalls requires emotionally intelligent empathy. Following this logic flowchart, you must treat your empathetic capacity like an airplane oxygen mask. You are required to secure your own emotional boundary before assisting anyone else. Because emotional empathy operates automatically, you must proactively set limits. Sometimes that means physically removing yourself from a situation to prevent burnout. Practically, this involves a specific vocabulary shift. You must strip phrases like, "I know exactly how you feel," from your vocabulary, as they inadvertently minimize the other person's experience. Instead, you must replace them with, "Tell me more." Dr. Henry Weisinger suggests a specific cognitive shift. If someone fails a major presentation, don't try to recall a time you failed a presentation if it wasn't a big deal to you. Instead, connect with the raw feeling of a past failure, like a major exam, rather than trying to match the exact circumstances. This shift protects your emotional reserves while validating the other person's reality. Practicing these boundaries shifts your position from a reactive sponge to a grounded anchor. This balanced approach is modeled by leaders like Mr. Pierce, who prove that emotional intelligence is not about being overly agreeable. It is about harnessing emotion to bring out the best in the people around you. Mastering this framework empowers you to treat others the way you want to be treated without sacrificing your own mental health. But what happens when you implement these tools in good faith, only to discover that the person across the table is using their own emotional intelligence to actively manipulate and exploit your vulnerabilities? Rebuilding your empathy is only the beginning. To survive, you must learn the defensive strategies to protect it from those who would use it against you. We'll uncover those strategies in the next part of our series.